Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is, you inky savages. Joining us for episode number 144 of the PenBoyRoy Pentertainment Podcast. This week we have some pens I want to show you, and I really am excited about some of these pens. I've been posting about them a lot. I do also want to share some news that's going on in the pen world with regard to what's happening in New York City, at least, in the pen world. It's going to be some cool, interesting news. And yeah, that's pretty much going to be the topic of discussion for as long as we can stay on the topic of discussion, which is probably going to be about 30 to 45 seconds, right?
Yeah.
But before I get into that, I want to thank everybody for taking advantage of coupon code OINK over at my affiliate link in the description below for Goldspot pens. Please check out Goldspot pens using the affiliate link below, and make sure to use coupon code OINK, spelled O-I-N-K, as in the noise that a pig makes. Make sure you check them out and do all your pen purchases there, because it helps everybody out, and it makes everybody happy. You're happy because you're buying pens. Goldspot is happy because they're selling pens, and I'm happy because every time you use the affiliate link, it helps out all things Pentertainment related. So,
and I'm happy too. That should matter something, right?
Right, whatever. Moving on. Thank you guys. Love you guys for doing that. Now, this week I want to talk about also the newest member of the Gioia family. Everyone meet the Alba, Partenope, meaning sunrise in Italian. The resin of this pen brings you straight to the Bay of Naples, Italy during the first minutes of the sun rising. Look at that.
Ooh.
A special edition. Each piece is individually numbered, but it's here to stay. I'm not even in frame. Here we go. Look at that. Each piece is individually numbered on the back of the cap right here where there would be a band. There is no band. And just like the others in the Partenope collection, it comes with a color-matched rollerball section insert. That, my friends, is a bold-faced lie, because it does not come with a matched rollerball section insert. It comes with a matched ballpoint section. Oh, that read is a complete and total lie. I'm calling them out. Luxury Brands of America, Bryce, for shame. It is not a rollerball. It is a ballpoint insert section. And I was actually saying to him earlier on text messages, this Partenope, the Alba, is gorgeous. A different type of gorgeous than one of our favorite actresses, Jessica Alba, but gorgeous nonetheless. And yes, it does come with a ballpoint section insert, not rollerball. You almost made me misinform people, Bryce. But I was actually talking to him. How cool would it be if the option of including the ballpoint section was given to you, and if you don't want it, it would be lesser of a cost? I think that would be really cool. So,
or you could swap it for something else, like an ink roller section, like the Bennu pen that you like.
Right. That would be also very cool if it was like a fountain ball pen type thing going on. But it's not. Yeah. I think that's like proprietary in a way to Bennu, as well as like the Monteverde ink balls and stuff like that. But you never know. We could always hope. So, last but not least, be sure to check out my good friend Neil's website for the greatest and best coffee ever created in the history of anything ever created ever. It is brlcoffeeco.com. And make sure to use coupon code ROY at checkout for an additional savings on all products on the brlcoffeeco.com website. They have some of the best tasting, smoothest, and best coffee beans on the planet Earth, with different levels of caffeine content depending on the type of roast that you get. And the best thing about it is it doesn't give you the crackhead jitters, which is always important. So, as I said, I do want to thank you guys again for joining us for episode number 144 of the PenBoyRoy Pentertainment Podcast. But before we get started, I want to give you guys a quick disclaimer. This podcast is not scripted and therefore will contain potty mouth words, both from Tom and I, mostly from me. So be forewarned. You have been warned. Now, on to the podcast.
The PenBoyRoy Entertainment Podcast. Stay savage.
Okay, so some news in the pen world.
Breaking news in the pen world.
Breaking news in the pen world today. Well, not today. Coming up. So today is Monday, November 28th, 2022. And as of the recording of this, the information that I have streaming in to me is that our good friend, Dante Del Vecchio, will be making an appearance on November 30th at the Pineider store located in Rockefeller Center. The event is going to last from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., which is really cool. At the same time, probably like the worst timing for a pen event, because on this day, at about that same time, they're going to be doing the tree lighting ceremony at Rockefeller Center.
Oh, wow.
And once the streets and avenues get filled up with people, they're going to cut off access. So if you're not there early enough, there is a large possibility that the access will be restricted and you can't gain access to the Pineider store.
Well, at the same time, though, the increase in crowds over that way would actually probably bring a lot more foot traffic in, right?
Sure, but I think it would bring window shoppers at most.
Right. But
And-
not enthusiasts of the Del Vecchio.
I don't. Thank you. Excuse me. I don't think that people who are coming to see the tree lighting are going to get distracted enough by the Pineider store to be like, oh, let's go look at the tree lighting. We're really excited about this. And then, oh, wait a minute, what's that? That's a storefront that has a whole bunch of pens. That's pretty cool. Let's go inside here instead. I don't think that's going to happen. I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a conflict of, first of all, thousands of people that's going to show up for the Christmas tree lighting event. And the people that want to go to the Pineider event will more likely be detracted from the store event to go see the Christmas tree lighting than the other way around. So Dante obviously texted me and he's like, hey, you should come down. And I'm thinking, there's zero part of me that enjoys being stuffed into a crowd like sardines. So I'm probably not going. But if anybody is resistant to that kind of, or doesn't have an apprehension to huge, tight crowds, then maybe you should go. And then while you're at it, catch the tree lighting. Or if you're going to go catch the...
You could crowd surf your way in. Just lay on top of the crowds and just let them
Right.
carry you to the Pineider store after watching the tree lighting.
Right. Or if you're going for the tree lighting, maybe swing around to the Pineider store, which I visited a couple of days ago. It's actually really nice inside.
We did talk about this last week's episode, right?
Yes.
We were talking about it.
And I didn't know that it was there until you told me about it. So I actually went to look for it the other day.
So it seems rather like coincidental and fortuitous that this all comes about at the same time. That's just
Yeah, so I think it's pretty awesome. I hope that you do have a chance to check out the Pineider store for the Pineider pen event. Dante is going to be there, like I said, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Now, let's say, for example, you miss that chance because the crowd of the tree lighting is too much, or you just don't feel like dealing with it. You could also always check out the fountain pen event that the Fountain Pen Hospital is hosting on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So that's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Dante will also be there.
Oh, wow. He's making his rounds.
Yeah, he's making his rounds. So he's leaving tomorrow night for New York from Florence. I spoke to him today earlier on the telephone, and he's looking forward to those things also. So this is a guy, I'm telling you, not only in his later stages in life does some crazy badass shit like ride motorcycles as fast as he can in circles, but he's active. He's moving around. He likes to stay busy. So I talked to him earlier. I talked to him earlier today about I'm excited next year in the end of May. We're going to go to Italy on vacation. My wife and I.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, we're going to fly to...
sweet.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that because he's going to take a few days off of work and hang out with us for a few days, show us the ropes of Italy. He wants us to visit Venice. So what we have planned so far is Florence and Rome, and he thinks Venice is better. So we might have to modify our plans because who better advice to take advice from when it comes to visiting Italy than King Italian himself, Mr. Dante Del Vecchio. We also have to try to get a visit to the Ponte Vecchio Bridge. I'm going to bring my Visconti pen and be like, look, it's the same thing on the clip and the bridge. Though they don't look anything alike. But whatever.
But it's like the inspiration, here it is. The piece of art that goes with it.
Right. So do you know the significance of the Ponte Vecchio Bridge? Of course you do, but everybody might not. The Ponte Vecchio Bridge is a really old bridge in Italy. Do you know
Yes.
it? Do you know? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it literally translates into it's because Vecchio is old in Italian.
Really, what does Ponte
Yeah.
mean?
Oh, river.
River old?
Yeah, old river.
Well, the reason why their bridge, the Ponte Vecchio bridge, is significant also is because the Ponte Vecchio bridge was built a long time ago and has survived every single war.
Oh, my bad. No, it's Old Bridge.
Old Bridge.
I was mistaken. Yeah, Old Bridge.
Well, so this old bridge survived every war, and that's cool, right? Shit
Hey,
that
man,
survives shit is good.
Yeah, it's and I mean that's what Italy has a lot of, is a lot of history.
Yeah.
They have stuff from the Renaissance. That's why you got to check out things like Venice or in Rome with the Vatican and Sistine Chapel. Is that some of the art, the sculpture, the architecture that's there is super old, and it's just gorgeous stuff that they have to look at there.
Yeah. You know, when I was, I think, 18 or 19, I was working at a video store called West Coast Video in the Bay Terrace Shopping Center. They closed down since then. But I remember this woman was visiting from Italy. And she was so gorgeous that as I was like putting videos away, I couldn't not look at her, and I walked into a wall and she caught the whole fucking thing. And I felt really stupid. Right? Like, it was like I'm holding a stack of videos in front of me, and as I'm looking at her, I actually walk into the wall. The stack of videos hit me in the face. At the time, they were VHS tapes. You remember those, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I drop them all, and I was like, I felt so stupid, but at the same time, she was so gorgeous, totally worth it. I just remember
You know what
that.
the difference between now and then is?
What's that?
The first difference is that there's no such thing as VHS tapes, and you would be carrying just data in your hands with the streaming and stuff. The second of all is that you do something like that, chances are somebody had a video queued up for it that will now be on TikTok or YouTube, and will be sharing your smashing into the wall and falling on your ass, you know?
Yeah, I didn't fall. I dropped a whole bunch of tapes, and I don't know if you remember how the video industry was back then. They'd be in these clamshell plastic hard boxes.
Oh, yeah.
And then they make a lot of clattering noise when they drop. So
Oh, for sure.
Right. So it was pretty embarrassing that, one, she caught me looking. Two, watched me walk into a wall. Three, watched me smack myself in the face with videotapes. Four, dropped all the tapes. Five, people, because of the noise, realized what was happening. The only saving grace was, at the time, smartphones didn't exist and video cameras didn't exist on smartphones, so nobody got it on tape. But let's say that happened now. Pan over to the Italian lady that was visiting from Italy, and everybody they'll be like, oh, makes sense. You know, he was looking at her and walked into a wall. It's just it's a fact of life that's going to happen. But yeah, so when you said there's a lot of gorgeous views, it made me suddenly remember that when I was a kid. So, yeah, she was
So
like,
how long are you going for?
It's going to be about 10 or 11 days.
Nice. Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
do at least a week, almost 2 weeks is
Yeah.
a good amount of time, because you got to, especially if you're going to multiple places. It seems like a relatively small country, but distance between Rome and Venice, it's significant. You're going to be spending a lot of time traveling. So
Yeah, that's what we're looking forward to. Spending a week longer in Italy makes me laugh, because I was just going through my Instagram feeds and stuff, and one of the little reels I put up is a video of you talking about the Queen Elizabeth Parker fountain pen before she passed, and
Okay.
you were like, if you're an American fan of the Queen, it might just be cheaper to spend a week in London than it would be to buy this limited edition fountain pen. And I was showing that to my friend at work, and I'm like, this guy's only job is to sell the pens. And this is the exact opposite of trying to sell the pens. He's literally saying it's cheaper to go visit London for a week than it is to buy this pen. Which makes me wonder, those Parker pens that were really expensive, dedicated to the Queen, do you have any left? Have you sold them all?
I think most of them sold out already.
Wow, really?
Yeah, and that's the thing is, someone actually had called earlier today, and Asha was telling me, it's like, they said, "Oh, you're such a great salesman," because they had seen a video recently of, I think, what was it, the one where I write the thank you notes.
Yeah.
With using the Esterbrook J.R. Bellezza.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, "Oh, I love that pen. Tell Tom that he's such a great salesperson." I'm like, it's because I don't actually try to sell you on anything. That's the thing, is that I just share what it is. And if something to me just doesn't seem right, and I'm just like, you know what? Reasonably speaking, I can't even just say, "Oh, I should be buying this limited edition Queen Elizabeth thing" if I'm a big fan, because I think if I was a big fan, I would get a lot more out of it if I just spent the money, visited London, and actually participated in the event. So
Right. But
I'm just gonna be honest. Gonna be honest. That's all.
Well, that's a good thing too, because being that you're honest about stuff makes it easier for people to want to buy things from you. So
yeah,
and I honestly think that it's great that you're honest about it.
Well, I wouldn't get into anything. I wouldn't want to make anybody get into something that I would not myself get into.
Yeah. But which is a double-edged sword in that sense, because there's a lot of times, or a few times, where I know that you would not be into something, so you don't sell it at Gold Spot because you don't like it, ignoring the fact that other people may. And because you don't like it, you're depriving other people of the opportunity of buying it from Gold Spot. And they could be fans of Gold Spot and want to buy it from Gold Spot, and you're depriving of that opportunity. Case in point.
I knew you were going to segue into that.
The Gioia Alba Partenope. Gorgeous pen. I've been using this all week. I love it. I love it so much.
You said it was the color of dawn in Naples?
No, I didn't say that. I just read that shit that he wrote, that Bryce wrote on the thing, on the sponsorship.
Now, is that a dawn after a night of drinking, perhaps, or staying up all night long on a bender? That sort of thing.
I don't know, but here's the crazy thing. In the read, he includes two pictures. One picture that was professionally taken, and then another picture that was taken by yours truly at the Audemars Piguet store over the weekend, because I'm shopping for a Royal Oak. Because my name is next on the list, and
I don't even know what you're talking about.
It's a watch.
Is that a watch? That's
yeah. And just if you look at the two pictures, the one I took looks amazing, and the one that was professionally taken doesn't look nearly as amazing as the one.
Well, they also have a lot of variation in the material, right? Because it is acrylic, and it's a multicolored acrylic, so maybe it wasn't a particularly good piece.
Which, no, it was. I could tell that the piece that they had is a good piece. It's just that I am just way better at taking photographs than whoever it is. Whoever it is, these guys are hiring, because I don't know. Mine just looks better. But,
I'll allow it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, their picture is good. It's just next to mine. It just doesn't look nearly as good, right?
Yeah. Well, it's subjective. Let's just say, maybe we'll just say, like, leave it up to everybody else. So maybe put a post on Instagram and then have people vote on it. Say which picture is better.
Well, we don't need to do that because
you know it's
you
don't
want
to confirm it one.
Yeah, I don't want to beat a dead horse. You know,
you're afraid of disillusioning yourself with your photography skills.
No, but it's just such a gorgeous pen. It has like these earthy browns, blues, oranges, slight blacks, grays. It's just really a gorgeous, gorgeous pen. Like the other Partenope I have is the Fiamma, the Fire, and it's cool, but nowhere near as gorgeous as this one. And this one here runs at $208. It's a decent price for an acrylic pen made in Italy with Italian acrylic. I wish they would just drop the price by $20 and then get rid of that stupid ballpoint section. I don't see the.
So it makes it a ballpoint because isn't it? It's still a capped pen, so it just comes with a ballpoint cartridge. You're saying, right?
A ballpoint. Whatchamacallit? A ballpoint section that you unscrew this back piece.
Okay.
And then the Parker refill goes in that, and then you screw the back piece into the section. And then you screw the whole section into the barrel. But
the pen's not retractable, though. It still has a cap.
No, it's still a cap pen. So I just wish they dropped the price by $20 and said, if you don't want...
Just don't include it.
Yeah, don't include it. Make it $20 cheaper. right? Because $208, if you make it $20 cheaper, you're under $200, and that's, I think, an excellent price for this pen.
But I think what their point is, they want to make it unique, and I don't really know of anybody else who would actually include a rollerball or ballpoint section with the fountain pen to be able to change it at will. Especially
Right.
if it's the same matching acrylic. I've seen it before where companies will include like a plain black resin that doesn't match, but it's just black, so everything matches with it. So they'll put a black resin to swap out the section, but having a matching color one that goes along with the acrylic of the pen, that's pretty unique.
Yes, so it does match. The section that comes with the ballpoint, it does match, but I don't give a shit. I'm not using it. So
it's a useless,
Yeah.
at least to you, it's a useless little feature.
yes,
that they
but
throw in.
I am also saying, just because I don't like it doesn't mean other people will. That's why I think there
Right.
should be the option as opposed to
Yes.
just saying I don't like it, so no one gets to have it.
All
Like
right,
somebody-
so let's just be fair, though, because I'm not the complete controller and the arbiter of taste of everything that comes on to goldspot.com. Like, there are other people that have a say in this whole entire thing. It just happens to
Nope.
be that
Nope,
if
not
it's,
true.
it-
Not true.
I have a pretty decent say on what things go on and what don't go on, but, it's also, it's not up to me. You can't just,
Nope,
pin
you're
that
lying.
all on me.
It's totally all you.
But then
Don't
again, if
listen to his lies.
people emailed us at pentertainmentpodcast@gmail.com or email me directly, then, they said, I need you to carry the entire Gioia line, including this Partenope pen, then, I would, let's say, run that to the owners and say, hey, we could take a look at this. And
Dude, you should have just told me. I'll email you right now. Hold on. Yeah, so I think that they should just drop the price by $20 and lose the section. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I think there's something psychological about something costing $208 versus something costing $195. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The fact that it didn't hit 200, I think people just psychologically will be more okay to buy it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I
it's
see
like
that.
it's such a solid pen. I mean, it's Italian acrylic. It's well made. Has a Jowo nib. Yeah, it's cartridge converter. And I understand your point where you're saying, oh, they want to be unique and include something no one else does. But the design in itself, although yes, it's vintage in style and stuff like that, I think it's unique enough in itself, especially with the lost wax molded clip and everything like that. It has a lot of gorgeous swirls, and there's enough uniqueness about it without trying to add a ballpoint tip to it to make it unique. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, to me and to a lot of people, ballpoint pens are shit, right? So it's like taking a 5-star restaurant steak and trying to make it unique by adding hamburger buns on it, right? The ballpoint pens being the hamburger buns. Oh yeah, look, everybody has a steak, but ours is unique because we're including hamburger buns. Well, who the fuck cares, right? Now, that's me. Somebody else might want hamburger buns with their 5-star Wagyu steak. Fine. Then they pay for the buns. But I don't think everybody should pay for the buns, right?
I'm just imagining trying to eat a steak with hamburger buns. It's like you cut out the piece of meat and then just put it on the hamburger bun and
yeah,
try to go to town on that thing.
It's like converting this gorgeous fountain pen into a ballpoint pen, right? I can't imagine that. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. So I also have on my desk some other pens that are very, like I was gushing about, that I still am.
Was there any other were there any other events going on that you had alluded to before? Were the two things about Fountain Pen Hospital and the Pineider store thing, that was the only two that you knew?
Yeah, those were the only two events that I know of.
Oh,
They're
okay.
all Dante Del Vecchio related.
I got you.
But this pen here, this is the
Oh,
one that I
dude!
was
By the
talking
way, that was the popular one that people using your referral link. That was the one they were coming to. Was that ginger?
Oh,
Aurora.
really? Wow.
Yeah. I think right now at the moment, Goldspot sold out of the ginger. So.
Oh, this pen here, the ginger. Oh my goodness, gosh, $149 This thing blows me away. You can't get it anymore because they're sold out. But
well, I mean, it'll come back into stock, but just right now at the moment.
Yeah, but I need people to see this. This thing is just so gorgeous. It's the cracked acrylic in this color. Because listen, if I hold up a
color.
Yeah, but if I hold up a piece of ginger, it doesn't look anything like this. You know what I mean?
Ginger, like a ginger root, kind of looks really gross and beigey.
It almost looks like a person, right? So anyway, this is the pen. It obviously has the cartridge converter, but it's just so beefy. Like, there's nothing flimsy about this pen, right? And it's just such a solid pen. It's gorgeous. I know we covered this last week, but I wasn't able to give you the visual of it last week. Now I can give you the visual. And what I love about it so much is just it's a solid pen. All these pens right here, like these Italian brands, they make such solid pens with such high tolerances. Gorgeous. And it's not a vintage pen. It kind of, I guess, has the Schaefer balance look to it with the pointed tips and stuff like that.
Right.
But right now, I guess because of what you were talking about with the value of the money exchange and stuff like that, you're able to sell this pen at $150. And as much as I love Esterbrook comparatively, an Esterbrook pen is $200, right? The Leonardo is made in Italy with Italian acrylic. The Esterbrooks are made with, stock commercial acrylics with Jowo nibs, same thing, cartridge converter. They're very good pens, but they don't feel as solid for sure as the Leonardo. And I think what Leonardo is able to do is fantastic. They're able to provide this level of quality at a lower price with better acrylics. You know what I mean? And
absolutely.
It's just, and that's for right now, because the currency exchange could change, and then suddenly the price goes up more than the Esterbrook, and then the Esterbrook will be more bang for your buck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but for now it seems relatively stable at that near parity mark. Another brand that is still in the process of changing pricing that we're able to be more competitive on is Scribo as well.
Oh, okay.
So but that's a big one, because you're talking a significant change that you could get now a Scribo feel for about $600 with but not including because they have the triple broad and the stub, which are premium nib options that they charge a little bit extra for. But for, let's say, a 14 karat with the flex is at $600. Is a piston filler and everything with gorgeous acrylics. That's, I think it's like it was a good value before. I mean, it is pricey, but now it even becomes more exceptional because you're getting Omas writing style in either 18K or a 14K nib with ebonite feed and a piston filler with gorgeous Italian acrylic, and the pricing is now much better. But that's, like you said, I don't know. It could all of a sudden, markets could change in a few months, and then we're looking at the euro being 20% higher again, and then they have to revisit the pricing again. Because since both Leonardo and Scribo, they don't deal with distributors, so it's more or less you have to roll with the exchange rates. You don't have that intermediary of the distributor to kind of offset it, or at least like kind of have a phasing in and out of inventory, where they have inventory here in the United States for a while and they don't have to like roll with the exchange rates so much. So you'd see like a price increase every so often. But with direct distribution, where you're just getting it directly from the manufacturer, stuff like this could make a big impact on pricing, which is a great benefit, especially at this point when exchange rates are more favorable.
Sure. Now, the pen that I held up, the Leonardo Fiorora, is $149, and that price is insane for what it is. Does that also apply to Memento Zeros?
Yeah. So like the standard cartridge converter Memento Zero or the Fiorora, the ones that are generally like about $200 retail, Those had come down significantly. And then also what's been really popular lately are the new Momento Zero 2.0s with the ink window.
Ooh.
And those are about, with the discount, I think they're a little bit over the $200 mark. So maybe like $230 or so for a steel nib.
Okay.
And they've got this new, it's still a Jowo nib, but they have the Fenice nib, which is kind of like has like a phoenix sort of design with a radiant sort of stamp that they do on it. It's really nice looking. It's still a Jowo nib, so you still get that performance right out of the box. And it's just they just pick some really fantastic colors to make their pens out of. Those acrylics.
I really am becoming more and more of a Leonardo fanboy. Now, I want to point out an example of what I'm talking about when it comes to what Leonardo is doing direct to customer versus through distributors. Now, this is in no way knocking any distributors, because I think they're highly essential in the industry. But this is your standard Leonardo Momento Zero, okay? And this one happens to be a Pen Chalet exclusive, but this is, forgetting about the exclusivity, I'm just talking about the design, the acrylic, right? This right now runs, not this pen in particular, but pens in the series, the Momento Zero, what do they run at? 149 also?
Yeah, I was just looking that up now so I could get you some facts.
Yeah.
So
let's talk facts.
Let's talk
facts. FAX.
So that's like the seaweed type of design.
Yeah. You want to share the screen so everybody can see what you're looking at?
Oh man, seaweed's actually sold out right now too. Dang. I did pass by the shelves and I was like, it's really thinning out. It's, more stuff has to come into stock.
I see what you're doing there. Seaweed thinning out. Because seaweed is thin. No? Thin? No? I think it worked. I think it worked.
I don't think so. Let's see. So the seaweed.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
So it is $149.95.
So let's just take a look at all these colors.
Everything,
like, look at
everything is out. Dang.
Wow.
But yeah, so you can actually see all the different styles, the other styles of Momento Zero, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's sold out.
So
right
this
now.
is what I'm talking about. You're looking at a MSRP of $199, but after your discounts and all that stuff, it's $149. That's $150. Oh, that's beautiful. $150. Look at that. That's the Positano color. I love that.
Yeah.
Love it a lot. That's an excellent looking pen. Now, that's excellent. So $149. I want everybody to take a mental note of the Leonardo Momento Zero standard fountain pen. The one in mango looks great. Can you just show a picture real quick of the whole pen capped, not uncapped? So look at that. It's got the pointed top. It's just really gorgeous pen. Now, I want you to find for me online also the Maiora Adventus in any color. All right, and let's compare the pricing now on this. Now, keeping in mind, they're both very similar in terms of pedigree. But with Leonardo, we're talking direct to customer sales by the manufacturer. All right, I might be eating words in about 5 seconds. I might be eating words like, okay. So, if you look at the Aventus, that's also a gorgeous pen, also made in Italy. Similar design, but I'm going to, once we stop looking at the screen, I'm going to show you the differences. Now, right now, for anybody watching, we're on gouletpens.com. We're looking at the Maiora Adventus fountain pen in deep purple. Now, these are also Italian acrylic fountain pens made in Italy. High-quality pens, same pedigree, cartridge converter. They're not identical, but they're extremely similar in that the end cap unscrews. You can fill the custom converter with the metal knob through the back end, or you can unscrew the section and fill it that way. They both have similar designs to the Delta pens back in the day. So Salvatore and Nino, they kind of had the same concept, right? Okay. Slight differences in terms of, section, slight differences in terms of girth, size, height, things like that, but concept is pretty much the same. But if you look at the MSRP, even though this pen is on sale for $147, the reason why I brought this up is because when this pen, before it went on sale, the MSRP was $245. But after your standard discount, what it was selling for was, I think, 20%, $196. So the difference is about $50. Okay? Now, there's several ways you can justify that. One of the main ways is understand that Maiora goes through distribution through Jaffa brands, whereas Leonardo does not, and there's the savings. Now, in the case of what I'm looking at on gouletpens.com, the Maioras are $147, so now we're still talking $150, but that's also because of a significant discount. We're talking discount to the point where Goulet is probably not making money on the pen, right?
It could be, or maybe they are getting them at a cheaper price, possibly from Jaffa, as like a certain, let's say, overstock purchase or closed out sort of thing. Right. Could be something like that. But
my point is, it's more than likely not 147 regularly. You know what I mean? It's going to be 196 typically, because I remember it being more than $147. I remember it being closer to 200.
Yeah,
right?
Typically, whenever you have most of the pen brands work the same way, where you look at Lamy, Aurora, Montegrappa, whatever, Visconti as well. Is that usually your street price is 20% lower than the MSRP.
Right. So the MSRP being $245, your street price would be $48 less, so about $196, $198 around there, right?
Right.
So now let's just say that is the price. I mean, here again, it's $147. I say jump on this on Goulet Pens as soon as you can, because I personally love the Maiora Adventus. You should definitely check it out. And $147 is a steal, just like the Leonardo's being $150 is a steal. So let's say it was $196, right? That difference is because of the distribution, which, like I said, distributors are necessary, because sometimes without distributors, this pens wouldn't even make it overseas to the States. That's why I think what Leonardo is doing is so commendable. He's able to do the job of being a pen maker and the distributor. So he's got a full plate, and he's doing it well. Yeah. That's what I really appreciate.
And what I think really comes down to is the fact that you're able to leverage technology in a way that you couldn't do previously.
Yeah, that's a huge
being able to reach a massive worldwide audience through social media, through email communications, and then all this stuff is translatable through Google Translate, even if you don't have the greatest handle on communicating in a different foreign language. You could always use Google Translate to at least get the gist of what's being said, and then send a message back, and then the person on the other end could use Google Translate to translate it back, and you could kind of get some sort of conversation going and things like that. So it truly does make it a lot easier. And I mean, in those cases, in case of Leonardo, case of Scribo, even Opus 88 too is another one that they don't have a distributor, but they've been able to leverage technology and leverage the internet to make it so that they could be able to send these pens affordably out, and then not have to incur that extra step of a distributor to, that would increase the cost to the end consumer.
Are you saying that because of social media and technology and everything that we have available in our phones and computers, are you saying that it's in a way, this might sound harsh, making the role of distributor less relevant?
Absolutely. Because I mean, some of them, I'm not going to name names, but some of them are just order takers. That's all that they do. They fulfill the requests of their customer. It's not like how it used to be back in the days where you have distributors walking up to different accounts and then pitching lines of product and then trying to sell store after store, because it's really consolidated. Especially fine writing has been consolidated to a few online stores, even fewer brick and mortar stores. And like if you don't know about something that's out in the market, then chances are a distributor is not going to enlighten you or put in the extra work to make more people aware of it, because it's already out there. It's all out there on the internet. It's out there on social media. That's how I had found Leonardo in the first place, was finding them on Instagram. Right. I'd seen beautiful pictures of Leonardo pens on Instagram. I'd seen other people sharing pens that they were buying from Leonardo. I had started to hear the rumblings I started to always put my ear to the ground. I'm like, what's going on? Like, it seems like this is being really popular. Are these pens any good? And people start raving about them. So you just understood that it was a good quality product, and it just looked fantastic, and there was support behind it. So naturally, it was like, oh, well, we got to try this out. So I mean, discovery is happening a lot more now on the internet. So you don't need somebody to show it to you.
Most likely must be due to the fact that discovery and information is so readily available at the consumer level.
Right.
Then especially for retailers, that kind of research and knowledge can be so easily attained. You don't need an intermediary like a distributor to get that information for you.
Yeah, I mean, even some brands choose not to even have a retailer as their intermediary between the consumer and themselves.
Do you mean
like?
What do you mean, a retailer?
Like Franklin Christoph. Franklin Christoph does sell limited runs to certain brands. Like Goldspot had a couple of limited runs. I think Goulet also did.
Yeah.
Vanessa does a few, but they don't need it. They deal directly to consumer level. And they do a fantastic job of it. They are marketers that are able to sell on social media. They sell directly at pen shows. They built such a following. Same with Shown Design too. He built such a great following of the product that there is really no need for an intermediary retailer. They just deal directly with the customers themselves and are able to then, because when you're dealing with, let's say, a retailer or a distributor, you have to sell it to these different levels of within the organization chain at a significant discount, so then they can make money on the sale. So if you're then competing as like a manufacturer like Franklin Christoph or Shown Design, if you're selling the same fountain pen at $150 and you're going to sell it directly to a customer, you make the full 150 minus fees or whatever, credit card charge fees, shipping fees, whatever. But if you're selling it to a distributor, you're going to have to end up selling that same pen that you would have made $150 on for probably about $35 if you're working through a distributor. And then if you're selling it directly to a retailer, then you'd probably have to sell it for $75. Just to kind of give you just basic, a basic idea of like how it might work out mathematically. So wouldn't you, as a business owner or as a manufacturer, wouldn't you want to make that full $150 rather than just making $75 or $37.50, on that same item that you would have sold? And all it really takes is just a little bit. I mean, I say a little bit because I'm just kind of used to it as my job, but that outreach of being out there online, sending free products to influencers, sending people you review on YouTube, having a website store set up, getting people signed up to follow you on social media or through newsletter. It is all possible leveraging technology and the internet to be able to do that these days.
So then why would a pen manufacturer go through a distributor? And then why would a pen manufacturer, if they choose to skip the distributor, go to a retailer and not straight to the end user? And why would they take these steps knowing that it's taking a loss? Like for example, Leonardo. Why does he go through Goldspot? Why does he go through Pen Chalet? Why does he go through all these people if he can just sell directly to the customers?
Well, it depends on whether or not your shipping infrastructure, your company is suited for end consumer sales. Because if you're not set up properly to be able to ship out, for example, at Goldspot now, it's the biggest and most high volume time of the year. We're shipping out hundreds upon hundreds of orders a day, and you have to be able to handle that volume, because if you're dealing with end consumers, you got to be able to ship out just one pen to somebody. When you're dealing with a distributor, if you're selling to, let's say, an international market of which you have no idea how you could market to direct retailers or to customers directly there, because it's a completely different language, different government structure, different, let's say, tariffs and stuff, customs duties, whatever. it would be easier to send to a distributor first, and then that way you ship all of the pens there. So instead of sending one pen here, one pen there, one pen here, you're sending all of them to the one distributor in the one country and just dealing with one customs duties thing that you have to go through over the border, and then they deal with dispersing it out locally in their own country, which would be a lot easier that way.
I understand why a manufacturer would choose to go through a distributor. My question was, why would they choose to go through a retailer minus the distributor, right? So, like, there were actually two questions. Why would someone choose to go through a retailer if they skip a distributor? Right, which you answered, like Leonardo.
But what if they, like in the case of Leonardo's, instead of having a distributor here, just send directly to the retailers?
Right. Why would he choose to do that? Which you answered. Why would he choose to send directly to retailers instead of just straight to the customers? I guess because Salvatore doesn't have the ability to send to every individual customer in the U.S. It's better to have.
Which they do, though. They actually do have a website set up for themselves. Mm-hmm. I have seen them sell gorgeous one-off pens, some ebonite, celluloid type pens that I'm just like, I browse their website too. But this is stuff that's not available to retail. It's something that's just available directly on LeonardoPen.com. But originally, they did not have the website set up. So it would be like Leonardo Pen did not exist for a while, and then it did, and you would actually be able to order pens on there. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, what I was saying is, like, let's say a U.S. customer wants to buy Leonardo pens. They would have to purchase them directly from LeonardoPen.com, and then would have to deal with the headaches of international shipping, the time it would take, the customs, the duties, the possible delays, even with like the Toxic Substance Control Act form things that happen when you send ink. The government wants to know, is this toxic or not? And sometimes that holds up a shipment. Sometimes shipments get returned because the person didn't fill it out, or that they didn't get the paperwork right. It's that kind of stuff that it just makes it a lot more. It makes it harder to have to deal with things internationally. So instead of dealing with a distributor, they want to send it to retailers because that extra step of the distributorship is going to cause that price to go up, undoubtedly.
Right. So from Leonardo's perspective, if I'm Salvatore, I would think to myself, I can handle selling to hundreds of retailers in bulk, but I can't handle selling to thousands upon thousands of individuals.
Right.
Right. But at the same time, he's also saying, I don't want to go through a distributor because I can handle not having a distributor. I just can't handle not having a retailer. Is that right? Does that make sense?
Because it just would be too many individuals, directly to, and it also be cost prohibitive too, because you're shipping out all individual pens to people in the United States or in Europe and whatnot, and crossing borders and stuff, and it's not as cost effective as just putting everything together in one DHL shipment, hundreds of pens, shipping it out to one retailer or to however many networked retailers there are in one country, and then having them ship locally within their own markets, within their own country. And then that way, all those customs duties things, the forms, the paperwork and stuff, that does not have to be an issue. That you could order a pen, you could order Leonardo pen in the United States and then be able to get it like 2 days later and not have to deal with any customs duties.
Sure. I see. I mean, that makes total sense, It totally does. But going back to the Maiora Adventus, which I love, and remember, we were talking about the Leonardo Momento Zero, and we were drawing comparisons with them because they're very similar in design and concept. Now, these are both standards. This one typically costs $200, and the let me just say it again because some people aren't watching. The Maiora costs typically $200, and then the Leonardo Momento Zero typically costs $150 now. But on Goulet pens, the Maiora now is $150, and so is the Leonardo at any other website because Goulet doesn't sell Leonardo's. But I do see what you were saying in terms of similar design. But compare these two pens if you're looking at them. Mm-hmm. Yes, they have similar features, but as you can tell looking at these two pens, they're drastically different, are they not?
Oh, I could tell a difference for sure, but would a a novice, pen enthusiast be able to look at them really quick and be like, hey, that's. I could tell they're very different. They look very similar.
Right. They look very similar, but they're also very different in that I think someone who's a novice pen enthusiast would be able to tell the difference. Straight off the bat, the very first thing that comes to mind is the total girth, length, and size of the Aventus by Maiora is larger. It's just larger. It's just beefier, larger. It's more massive than the Leonardo Momento Zero. The Momento Zero, when it comes to size, pales in comparison. And then also, if you take a look at center band situation here, the Leonardo has 3 simple ring center bands and then 1 ring center band on the barrel, whereas the Aventus by Maiora has 1 solid decorated center band and then 1 down on the barrel. Otherwise, they're identical in terms of design, except that the Leonardo is more slim and more streamlined, whereas the Aventus is girthier. It has a thicker midsection,
right?
And the section of the pen is extremely different in that the Aventus has this concave shape, whereas the Leonardo has more of like a beer bottle shape. Now,
that's a good way of putting it. I always kind of struggle to describe what that shape was. It's kind of tapers, but like but that's exactly what it is. It's like the neck of a beer bottle.
Yeah, the neck of a beer bottle shape. I've been saying that for years. How have you not picked up on that?
I don't know.
You just don't pay attention to me. But yeah, like I said, I know that you think that they're very similar, right? And I'm pretty sure, and I can't speak for Brian Goulet, the reason he doesn't pick up Leonardo is because it's too similar to the Maiora and the Deltas that he had in the past, and he has a relationship with the Alpha brand, so he's not going to pick up Leonardos for that reason, right? And then you, on the other hand, I can't. I'm guessing that. I can't guarantee that. He never said that. I'm just guessing. It is my opinion. I could be completely wrong. Brian Goulet never said that. I am not quoting him.
Wild conjecture. You're getting a sternly worded email.
Right, I'm just talking. No, Brian's a cool dude. He's not going to be pissed at me for making a guess. But I think I'm right. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll totally admit it. I'm first of all admitting that I'm completely and totally guessing. So anyway, I don't want anybody to misinterpret what I said to say that that's what Brian Goulet was saying. He never said that to me. But this is what I'm guessing. Now, I'm also guessing from your perspective. You are a big fan of Leonardo, and because they are similar, that's why you're not getting the Maiora. Am I guessing right?
Well, like I said, I'm not the ultimate person who makes all those decisions, but one of the things that is talked about often is whether the pens are distinctive enough to carry their own weight. And Tibaldi is another one where the Tibaldi was tried. The Tibaldi N60, that was brought in. Was not successful.
It wasn't?
Not
I love that pen.
No, not in the least. Because it was more expensive than a Leonardo, but it had an ebonite feed. But it's just they are very, very similar to what is already being carried out there.
What was the Tibaldi similar with?
It looks like a Momento Zero too. It's just
the N60.
With the
Hold on.
They also look very similar too.
That sounds like hogwash, because if you look at these two pens, they totally don't look anything alike. This is the Tibaldi N60. This is the Momento Zero. Nothing alike. If you're telling me this looks like a Momento Zero, if you're telling me this Tibaldi looks like a Momento Zero, I need you to get your eyes checked forthwith. How are these similar in any way, shape, or form?
All right, well, pointy ends, for one, right?
Yeah, but these are finials. These are actually separate pieces that are finials.
All right, they're jewel finials. I will give you that. But the thing is, like I'm saying, I know we see details when it comes to pens, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of times when people are looking up pens and they're looking to add to their collection, they're looking to buy something new, exciting, and different, they're looking at the overall pedigree of the pen. They're looking at, like, okay, what is it made out of? And what does it look like? And then what kind of nib is on it? And if they're all going to be very, very similar with each other, you're going to have a hard time trying to sell or try to convince anybody on trying to get something that's very similar for even more money.
Right. I hear you that the Tibaldi is more money for an acrylic pen when you can get another one. Like that's what I was.
Italian
that's exactly.
acrylic.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. Like
that's why the Monte Grappa is struggling for that reason too.
Yeah,
I feel.
yeah.
It's,
I mean,
is that there's a certain cachet of that it has as a brand, but the thing is if you just compare it apples to apples, say Italian acrylic pen, Jowo stainless steel nib, Monte Grappa's $450.
Right.
Leonardo and the other ones are like $200.
yeah.
$150.
But like I was saying, I can totally get with you on the fact that yes, the Tibaldi is priced higher than the Leonardo for something that is the same pedigree. But if you're telling me that these two look the same, I'm gonna have to slap you, right? Because these totally do not look the same.
Bring it right here.
These don't look the same in the least bit, right? First of all, you have a unified. This cap on the Leonardo is a single acrylic piece, right? Other than the little rings in the center band. This here is a jeweled. This here on the Tibaldi is a jeweled finial with a metal stepped design, right? Clips are entirely different. The clip on the Leonardo has a wheel, and the clip on the Tibaldi is just like a single piece, no wheel, right? The Leonardo, just like pretty much the Maiora pens and a lot of pens, has a removable end cap that exposes the end of the custom converter. Okay, the Tibaldi does not have that. Okay, so I get where I 100% with you that like, okay, maybe the Tibaldi didn't do well because for what it is priced too high relative to pens with the same pedigree. And when I say the same pedigree, I mean cartridge converter acrylic Italian pens, right?
Right.
But they do not look the same. They do not look similar. I need you to admit that.
All right, I guess I'll cave in on this one.
Yeah.
I'll let you win this argument.
These two
they don't look that similar.
These two look very similar. The Maiora and the Momento Zero. The design is just it's the difference between a Lexus RX 300 and a Lexus NX 300. You know what I mean? One's just bigger and beefier and fatter. But otherwise, yes, they're similar. I can totally say that. I think.
I want to bring up a movie thing, if I can.
Let's hear it.
So one of the things that we were saying about like, what does this pen look like, or so, it just got me thinking about. I was watching a Christmas story. Christmas.
I saw your story.
You saw that. You saw that story. So at the because you know that the character Ralphie in the original Christmas story, his obsession was the Red Ryder BB gun that he wanted for Christmas.
Yes.
So in this movie, he's an adult. I don't want to spoil plot points. Have you seen it already?
No, I haven't. I'm not going to.
All right. So I don't want to spoil plot points, but the part that I shared on the Ink Journal Instagram stories was when Ralphie, as an adult, is opening up a gift for Christmas.
Okay.
And it happens to be a fountain pen. And you just see it for a split second. I'm sitting there with my in-laws and my brother-in-law, his family, and stuff like that. They're all like, "Tom, what pen is that?"
Well, so I saw the Instagram post that you put up where he pulls out the pen from the clamshell box. It has a gold cap and a black barrel. It didn't look like a fountain pen to me, though.
Well, that's the thing is that how are we? This is the 70s, right? So how are you assuming that is a fountain pen? I'm wondering. You know, it's like you would make an assumption.
Am I remembering wrong? Didn't they say, "Oh, it's a fountain pen" in the movie?
Yes, they did. But the thing is, he pulls it out of the box. He had not removed the cap yet. How would you know it's a fountain pen for sure?
So what are you saying, that Ralphie was wrong?
No, I'm just saying I don't. You know, it's just weird that they would automatically assume that it was a fountain pen. That
Wait a minute.
Look at
who's they? Are you talking about Ralphie assuming that it was a fountain pen, or
us?
When
they pull it out, it's like, oh look, it's a fountain pen, and they take it out of the box. They didn't take the cap off. How would you know it's a fountain pen?
Well, us, the viewer, would know it's a fountain pen because Ralphie or somebody says it's a fountain pen. Are you saying
that's the only way? But how do the characters know?
Oh, I see what you're saying. So how do the fake characters in the movie know that it was a fountain pen when they pulled it out of the box?
My suspicion, though, because I saw it for a brief second, and just from looking at the outline of it, I'm like, kind of seems like a Cross Townsend, and it would make sense, being that was one of the more popular brands of the time.
Yeah,
like possibly, and I think they were at that point still made in the USA. I don't think they had gone into, as I know that they made them in the USA for a while.
Yeah, I think that it was. Hold on a second. I only watched your little reel really quickly, so I can't remember. I don't think that. To me, it didn't seem. How come I can't see your story?
Maybe because it died already.
It expired.
24 hours. It might have expired already.
All right, so I'm thinking. I thought it was like a Parker.
So if you are into watching, as I mean, Christmas Story, it's going to be on 24 hours. The original one, on Christmas Eve. A lot of people find that as like one of the like must-watch Christmas movies. So if you are intending on watching that movie, it's on HBO Max currently. It is I liked it, and I'm not the most like lovable type of person when it comes to Christmas movies. I like some, others I'm just like, this is trash. So this is just bad movie making and just pandering and things like that. But I really like this movie. I liked the fact that they brought back the characters, especially when it comes to reboots. I kind of think that reboots kind of try to be really cringy or whatever.
Yeah, I hear you.
Well, it's not technically a reboot anyway. It's more like a very, like it's like an old sequel. It's, but I thought it was pretty well done. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
and it had a fountain pen in it, so I can't argue.
But we don't know that because when I looked at it, it looked like a ballpoint pen. It looked like a ballpoint pen, and in the movie, it's a fountain pen because they say it is. So
Yes.
we're supposed to believe that. But when I looked at your reel, I don't recall thinking that's a ballpoint pen.
It just looked like a pen with a metal cap, like a gold metal cap, and a black barrel, and it just was. He was just taking it out of the box, and it just cut away.
Yeah. So that's when they cut away, or is that when you cut the reel? Because I thought
that's when they cut away. They cut away at the same exact point.
Oh, okay. So that I thought you were cutting it sooner than it was, just to like tease people. But no, that was how they did it in the movie.
No, I wish I could have just gotten a still of that. I recorded it on my phone just so that I could actually pause it, because watching on HBO Max, like it doesn't have good playback controls where you could kind of fine tune where you're pausing and then go back a few frames and things like that. It doesn't work very well.
I see.
So I kind of had to just record it on my phone and then do the scrubbing to see exactly. I really get technical about this stuff. It was very nerdy of me to
That's
do,
good
but,
though. That's
yeah.
what makes you like. That's what I love about you. You're very technical and nerdy with stuff.
I love it whenever there is a pen on any movie or
I feel
TV
you, man.
show.
I feel you.
I'm just like, what is that?
Yeah, I totally get you. But listen, it's time to wrap this up. I really got to take a leak, and I don't think I should go on the show because I'm just going to come back just to say bye. So let's
just do it in a bottle or in a can.
Right,
Do it in the seltzer can.
I'm going to take another sip, even though I have to really pee.
Oh boy, now it's over.
Right.
Better wrap this up quick.
Yeah, but reach out to us, pentertainmentpodcast@gmail.com, and give us your thoughts and opinions on the discussion we had today regarding anything that we talked about. I'd love to hear from you. So, also, I want to know if you're going to the city this weekend to see Dante Del Vecchio, be it at the Christmas tree lighting on Wednesday the 30th or Fountain Pen Hospital the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. I hope you guys make a turnout for that. It's going to be really awesome. My friend Ken Jones from Yapa Brands and Neve is going to be there as well. It's going to be nice. Cool. It's going to be good to see them. I hope I can make it out there. But I'm definitely not making it out to the Christmas tree lighting Pineider event. It's just too chaotic. It's not my thing, and I've seen it enough times. So, but if you are, let me know how it goes. So once again, thanks for joining us. I love you guys. Be well. Be safe.
Stay inky.